The last thing we said is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should not bring us lidei nisayon. We talked about tests. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us tests throughout our lives. And we discussed the concept of how HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us the ability to pass those tests. The person should never think that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving me this test, there's no possible way for me to pass it. I don't have the strength. Right? And we brought the example of Hanani, Mishael, Azariah, who were, Nebuchadnezzar said, bow down to the idol, and they had themselves thrown into the furnace, and they survived. And the Gemara told us that if Nebuchadnezzar said, bow down, or I'm going to beat you, I'm not going to kill you, they would not have been able to stand up to that test. For whatever reason, they knew their koyches, they understood that on themselves what they were able to handle. They understood this is the nisayon to go into the fire. That's what we can handle. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us those koyches. Something else we wouldn't be able to handle. The next thing we talked about is, well, Hashem shouldn't bring us lidei bizayon, to embarrassment. And one of the concepts we pointed out was, a person does averos, he has to realize there's going to be a judgment in the next world. It's coming. And Rabbi Lapian points out that the judges who are going to be on that Beis Din are not going to be the Vilna Gaon, Moshe Rabbeinu, tzaddikim from previous generations. They're going to be the tzaddikim from your generation. And we pointed out why is that? Because a person could say, Vilna Gaon, if you were alive in my generation, you would have been able to understand me. You would know what's going on. You were able to live in a generation where you were able to lock yourself up in your room, close your shades, and learn Torah and grow like that. You know what it would have been if you were in my generation? So that's why the tzaddikim of your generation are going to be judging the case. Because they're going to say, we understand. We know what went on in that door. We understand the trials and tribulations of this door. And why do they understand it? Because all the problems come to them. Right? When anybody has a problem, they go speak to a mashgiach or a rosh yeshiva or a gadol with their problems. They know what's going on. They understand. So don't bring us to bizayon, because they're going to understand fully what was going on. They're still going to be able to tell us, you could have done better. So that's what we're holding right now. Tonight, we're going to just continue the next part. So it's on page Nun Gimel. It's on the right-hand column, starting with the words, Val Tashlet Banu Yetzer Hara. Which means don't let the Yetzer Hara rule over us. Now, let's just start, and we're going to do a lot of explaining, I think, on this one paragraph. Tefillah zu, this prayer, Eina al haminiya me'achet. We're not asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to withhold us from sinning. Why not? We already said above, do not bring us to sin. Now we said, those of you remember, that does not mean we don't ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't lead us to sin, because as we said, that's a Goyish concept. We have to make the choices. We said we choose to sin or not to sin, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of everything afterwards. We explained it, but that's not what it means. It just means don't bring us to sin. And if anybody wants the right explanation, you can talk to me afterwards. Or anybody who was
Shut the door on us. Don't let us open it.
Ella mispalim. So what are we davening for over here? What are we asking? Mispalim shakadosh baruch hu yatzilenu mishlitasu shel hayetzer hara. We ask the HaKadosh Baruch Hu to save us from the rulership of the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. Dahainu masha adu nisam tachas memshaltoi. A person is found that we are under the dictatorship. Moishel, the difference between a Moishel, a ruler, and a Melech, and a king can be voted in. It's a man of the people. The people can, or he can go in succession, right? His child afterwards. But it could be that a king gets voted in by the people. A Moishel, a dictator, is somebody who takes over by force. You don't have a choice in the matter, right? Saddam Hussein, he was there, didn't have a choice. The guy in
Yetzer was a Moishel.
Huh?
Yetzer.
Hara made him. That was it. They didn't have a choice. They didn't vote him in, right? Right. So we're under you have to realize, the Yetzer Hara is a dictator. He's there. Whether we like it or not, the Yetzer Hara is there. He's there within us. He's there from the time we come out.
You gotta beat him or join him.
You better try beating him. That every single second, the Yetzer Hara increases his enticements to try and get us to sin. As the Gemara says in Sukkah, al Pasuk, in Tehillim, Tzayfer Rasha L'Tzadik Mavakish La'Misai. The Rasha looks to the tzaddik and tries to kill him. Every single day, Yetzer Hara is just getting stronger and stronger. And he tries to overpower you every day. And listen to these words, the Gemara. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not help us out, we would not have a chance against the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara would be too strong for us. If not for heavenly assistance, we have no chance against the Yetzer Hara. Why is this? Sheba emes hayetzer hara hu chelek miteva ha'adam. The Yetzer Hara is a part of our. He's part of our makeup. He's part of us. when a person comes out of his mother, we discuss, I think the Gemara in Sanhedrin says the Yetzer Hara comes into a person when he comes out, right? That's it, he's there from day one. He's there from the beginning, and you grow up with the Yetzer Hara.
It's a Tov also.
Yeah, but Yetzer Tov, but that comes a little later. The Yetzer Hara has a 13-year head start.
Bar mitzvah.
Has a 13-year head start on your Yetzer Tov. Now you wonder why it's so hard, right? It's not. Yeah, it's so hard to beat the Yetzer Hara. He's got a nice head start, right? And if you even think about it, you know, the attribute to want things, to take things, really starts when you're a baby. What do? You just want everything. You just take milk, you take food, you take everything. You get fed. Everything's right. Rabbi Eli Lapian, I think, talks. Rabbi Dessler, I think, talks about a person being a taker when he's born, and the job of a person is to go from being a taker to being a giver, being a neitel to being a nicing. But you think about it, the Yetzer Hara is take. Me. That's all that matters, and he has that head start on a person. So he's part of our makeup. And he brings a bride from the pasuk in Bereshis, Yetzer Hashem Elokim es Adam. Hashem formed the man, and it says Bevei Yud. And there are two yuds in the word Vayitzer. Connected Beis HaYitzarim. It's our two inclinations: Yetzer Hatov, Yetzer Hara. The good and the evil inclination. Behein Hein Hatchunos Hadoichos Shel Adam L'Tov L'Ra. These are the drives of a person that push him to go either to do good or to do evil. Va'alkein Ha'adam Hu Chida. A person's like a riddle. On one hand, your desires and your wants are in constant struggle. They're opposites. At the time when a person wants to go after the good, he says he's under muksam, is like a spell, right? He's under the spell of the enticements of evil. Not for heavenly assistance, we would not be able to suppress the Yetzer Hara. Heavy, this is what we mean. Do not let the Yetzer Hara rule over us. Where do we down for? Don't let the Yetzer Hara rule over me. Help me out, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I need your help. If not for your help, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't do this on my own. And the Yetzer Hara is being misgaber. He's a part of me. I realize that. He's ruling over me. He's a dictator over me. But please help me that I should be able to suppress the Yetzer Hara. Now, it is the time in the days of Elul, right? And I think we'll talk about this. It's very apropos to understand the Yetzer Hara a little bit and understand. Look, every hero has his nemesis, right? And if we'd have to pick our spiritual nemesis, would probably be the Yetzer Hara. Okay, it's Amalek, but that's also part of the whole Sitrach and the Ra and everything else. But it all comes from the Yetzer Hara. So there's something we talked about L'David Hashem Ari last year, but I just want to go through something that we say twice a day, the paragraph of L'David Hashem Ari, and we say a pasuk here that L'David Hashem Ari, the first couple psukim especially, can refer to one of two things. If you look at it, it sounds like David HaMelech is talking about wars that he has fought. Right? If they're going to set up camp against me, I'm not afraid. If my enemies are going to fight against me, right? And David HaMelech is asking Kadosh Baruch Hu to help him win his wars. But we pointed out that, this has to have meaning to us. It wasn't just, Tehillim wasn't just something that David HaMelech wrote back then, and that's it. It applies to every person on their own level and all times. And we said this is also talking about a spiritual milchama, a spiritual battle that a person fights every day. And David HaMelech says, when the evil people come against me, they are my oppressors, they are my enemies. This is referring to the Yetzer Hara. As the Chovos HaLevavos points out, the single greatest thing that hates you in this world, Mamash hates you, is your Yetzer Hara.
Is it singular or plural?
It's plural, but they're different types. We pointed out,
right.
As I know you remember.
Year, I remember last year.
I know, that there are blatant, open Yetzer Hara, and there are Yetzer Haras that I don't even realize myself. A negia a person has, bias a person has, right? Sometimes you have a negia that drives you to do something. You don't really realize that. You try to do a mitzvah, you think you're doing such a great thing, but why are you doing it? The Yetzer Hara is telling you, do that mitzvah. You know why? Because they'll say, look at this guy, he gives such tzedakah, he does such nice things, he helps the lady across the street, right? So you're doing the mitzvah, but what's the drive behind it? It's the Yetzer Hara. So that's not so obvious. Then there's the obvious Yetzer Hara, and you go out in the street, and everything's open to you. The world is open to you, unfortunately, right? And that's the Yetzer Hara. That's open. So there are different types of Yetzer Hara. So Tzara, you're right, it is plural. Tzara, my enemies and my oppressors. Different types of different Yetzer Haras that we encounter in the world on a daily basis.
Well, isn't it one that he has different guises?
See, I'm not sure how to say it, because I know that by Adam Rishon, there was something called the Yetzer Hara mi bifnim and the Yetzer Hara mi bachutz. And the Nachash represented the Yetzer Hara mi bachutz, and then when he did the Yetzer Hara tried to entice him. It's like, a billboard.
Twine.
And then when he got him to eat from the Eitz Hadas, it became a part of him. So I don't know if it's one with two halakim, or it's different, or it's
perhaps
one
it's with your equation of Amalek.
Different
Very
forms. They're saying
similar.
it's one in different. Yeah.
Well, that's like a more physical representation.
Any type of, or any enticement in this world. So it could be one with many different forms, but different types of enemies and different ways they wage war against. It's like a country going Air Force, Marines, and land foot soldiers, and whatever it is. So it's different ways. You're right, different enemies. But we also said that Tzarai v'oivai li. Why does David HaMelech say Tzarai v'oivai li, which the Art Scroll translates my tormentors and my foes against me? But if you really think about it dictic-wise, it could have just said, when these evil people, the evil ones, come to eat my flesh, Tzarai v'oivai, they are my oppressors and my enemies. Why does David HaMelech say li? So the answer that was given is that li means every single person has to realize you have a tailor-made Yetzer Hara for you. Your desires are yours and yours alone. Your Yetzer Hara works out for you, and you don't have the same trials and tribulations that somebody else has. You have your own nisyanis in life. You have your own things that you have to, be misgaber over, that you have to elevate yourself over. It's Tzarai v'oivai li. It's for me. I have to realize that. And that's what we were saying here. The Yetzer Hara is part of your makeup. Your makeup is not the same makeup as another person. A person has a tailor-made Yetzer Hara. And what is the way to defeat the Yetzer Hara? How does a person do it? It's l'david Hashem oiri v'yishi, and then we say Hashem ma'ois chayai. And the oiri, the pasuk says kiner mitzvah v'Torah or. What is or? Torah. Torah represents light. That is what guides me through light. Yishi are referred to as mitzvahs are referred to as my salvation. Why? Because the Gemara says when a person does mitzvahs, the time that a person is doing mitzvahs, he's saved from all types of evil. You might not even realize it, but doing a mitzvah saves you. And Hashem ma'oz chayai, my life strength. What is my life strength? It's musar. Learning Jewish ethics, real ethics, not what the world calls ethics today, because go out in the street and see what the world calls ethical.
Their ethics kill people.
Their ethics do a lot of damage. You're right? Right? That's not ethical. What we call ethics, Sifrei Musar, that help a person, elevate a person, teach you. Musar is like, you take a diamond, and if it's full of schmutz, there's a diamond there, but it's covered. What Musar does to a person is it helps refine you. And sometimes, it seems like Musar is like beating you down, right? It's so depressing. It's so, I can't take it, right? A person shouldn't take these things and fall into a depression. You shouldn't fall into, I'm nothing, right? You shouldn't walk into Rosh Hashanah, as I was talking before. You shouldn't walk into Rosh Hashanah thinking that the focus of Rosh Hashanah is mi yichya, mi yamus, mi barav, mi b'cherev, mi ba'esh, right? You don't, you think you go into Rosh Hashanah, it's such a depressing, time. There's a reality, there's a reality, there is a reality of Rosh Hashanah being a serious day, but what do you do with that? You have to take the seriousness of it and use it, and use it as a force to drive you to do better, to do more mitzvahs, to try and win out the court case. Try to put your best foot forward. And Torah, Oiri, Yishi, Mitzvahs, and Ma'ois Chayai, Musar, we have to realize, it's Hashem Oiri v'Yishi, Hashem Ma'ois Chayai. That even though I'm learning Torah, even though I'm doing Mitzvahs, and I learn Musar, I have to realize it's all Hashem Oiri. And that's what the Gemara in Sukkah was saying. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu does it for me. With all my mitzvahs and all my learning Torah, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu who helps me beat out the Yetzer Hara. This Yetzer Hara of ours, he's got a lot of tactics. And Rav Shalom Shajan in this beautiful sefer that I haven't picked out this year, and it's become my instant favorite. It's called Kol Didoi Fake. It's on El and it's on Tshuva, and he talks about the Yetzer Hara. And he says, there are common mistakes associated with the Yetzer Hara. And a person thinks, when I'm learning Torah or when I'm davening, and these are things which are, Barasi Yetzer Hara, Barasi Torah Tavlin. Hashem says I created the Yetzer Hara, and the antidote is Torah. So if I'm learning Torah, that's the antidote to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara can't touch me if I'm learning Torah. That's a mistake. And if anybody ever sits down to learn, and as soon as you sit down to learn, fall asleep, phone goes off, this problem happens, you have to go pick up this, every type of worry comes when you sit down to learn. And you can't keep learning straight. It's always chopped up, it's always broken up. Yetzer Hara is right there. That's mistake number one. He says it's even further than that. Person thinks, when I'm doing tshuva at least, and what's tshuva supposed to do? It's supposed to suppress the Yetzer Hara. It's supposed to get rid of my Yetzer Hara. I'm supposed to beat out when I'm doing tshuva. And I'm really trying to do tshuva. I'm really trying to do better. The Yetzer Hara can't touch me. He says that's a mistake. That's a big mistake that people make. It's something to think about. That the Yetzer Hara, he says, during Elul, especially, when we're trying to do tshuva, he says the Yetzer Hara is willing to help you do tshuva. He wants you to do tshuva. He's willing to put forth all his kaiches to help you do tshuva. Why? So that you won't be able to do effective tshuva. I'll explain this. What is teshuva? We talk about do tshuva, do tshuva, do tshuva. So in this sefer, I can count at least a dozen times where he says like this. I'll read it. Let's say it in Hebrew. I even wrote it down. Teshuva perusha lihishtanos. Teshuva means change. You have to be different. You could say all the achates in the world. You can mamish give yourself black and blue marks on Yom Kippur by slamming yourself, but it does absolutely nothing if you just think, if it stays up here. If it's just in our heads. There's a pasuk, V'yadata hayoim v'hashevoisa elavavecha. Ki Hashem hu Elokim. V'shamayim imal v'al aretz mitach hasenod. You should know today, V'yadata hayoim, you should know today, v'hashevoisa elavavecha. You should put it in your heart. What are these two things? There's one thing the Bali must say. Your mind and your heart is Reuven and Shimon. That's what it is. They're two different people. Just because you know something in your mind doesn't mean it's in your heart, and doesn't mean that you put it into motion. Make it practical. Tshuva means you have to be different. On some level, the smallest level possible, you have to be different. The Yetzer Hara is, he brings down, there's an old adage, right? Is that right? Okay, there's an old saying, which is, the Yetzer Hara he's a schizophrenic. He has a lot of different personalities. Sometimes he'll come to us as a Rosh Yeshiva, he'll come to us as a Mashgiach, and even in L'David Hashem Oyer we say, B'krovalai Mereim. Mereim, when evil people come against me, referring to the Yetzer Hara, but Mereim can either come from a lesson of Ra,
like
or
Erev Ra? Erev Ra?
That's Ra, but Ra. Mereim is from Ra, Reish Ayin, or
Friends.
right. You should love your friends as yourself. So David HaMelech is saying, be careful. Sometimes that Yetzer Hara will come at you, you'll know it's bad, you'll know it's evil. But sometimes he acts as your friend, B'krovalai Mereim. He looks, I'm your friend, go do tshuva. Do tshuva and make kabbalas on yourself, accept things on yourself. He wants to make your head in the sky that you think you're doing so much tshuva, you feel great about yourself. I feel good. I'm reading Musar Svarim. I'm davening hard on Rosh Hashanah. I'm saying slichos with a lot of kavanah. I'm davening a little slower. I'm doing all these things, right? I'm changing. I'm a changed person. But he brings down that the Yetzer Hara's system is like this. When it comes to El, the Yetzer Hara starts to get a little worried. Why is he getting a little worried? Because sometimes between the Rosh Chodesh El and Yom Kippur, sometime within these 40 days, every Jew, at one point, be it at the beginning of El, when Slichus comes around, Rosh Hashanah, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, Kol Nidre, when you hear the Chazan start Kol Nidre, or even Ne'ilah, when a person says Hashem Hu Elokim, there's something going on when a person really starts to feel something, I need to change, I need to do something. And the Yetzer Hara is saying that this might be the year. This might be the year that they actually do tshuva. I might be out of a job come this year. And what do you do if you know you're going to be out of a job? You fight your way, you claw your way back to try and stay there. So what does he do? So he's like this, as I've been saying, I will tell this person, accept this upon yourself, accept that upon yourself, do tshuva, do tshuva, do tshuva, be serious about it. And a person will think, yeah, I'm doing tshuva, I feel great about myself, you really feel good. The line is, he says, Es ha'elul lahem ve'es cheshvan li. That's the Yetzer Hara says. You take El, you take Rosh Hashanah, you take Aseret Yemei Tshuva, you take Yom Kippur, but right after Yom Kippur, let's see how quickly you run back for a snack. Let's see how quickly you say that bracha. Let's see how quick you are to make some change in your life. Why do you think Chazal say, go ahead and start building that sukkah? Continue it. Do something. Do something that shows I'm different. I'm doing more mitzvahs. Look, I was doing tshuva this whole time. And look, it's effective. How do I know it worked? Because what's the first thing I do when I get home? I make a bracha with kavanah, I eat a little bit, and then I go out and I start with my sukkah. We go from mitzvah to mitzvah. That's what we're doing. Effective tshuva means to affect change. And I spoke to my mashgiach, and I was asking him, I said, what should I tell somebody? I remember around Tisha B'Av time, I was speaking to certain people about, trying to, how we could work on thinking about the Churban Beis HaMikdash, how we can make it practical. And a person said to me, he said, it's very hard for me. I work a whole day. I run home. I'm very busy even at home, just, family life, whatever it is, and I'm pooped. What do you want from my life? Like, how much time do I have in a day already? So I said to Mashgiach, I said, what am I supposed to tell somebody? You get that with El also. You tell a person we have to change, you have to do something. What can you tell somebody? Lamaisa, people have packed schedules.
You're lazy.
Oh no, that's not what he told me. So you gotta be practical. He said like this. He said, you tell a person, take 10 minutes a day. That's it. 10 minutes that you're gonna have. Be it before mincha, be it after Amar, before you go to sleep. It's probably the best time because you'll spook yourself silly right before you go to sleep. But take 10 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes, open a Sefer Muslim. And just for 5 or 6 minutes, a Shari Tshuva, a Rambam Hilchos Tshuva, a Chavos Halavavos, Mesilas Yesharim, something that in English, Hebrew, French, Spanish, whatever it is, and read it. 5, 6 minutes, go through it. He said the last 4 minutes, think. Think, what does Rosh Hashanah mean to me? Who am I? Where am I? He said 4 minutes, that's it. That's all you need, 4 minutes. How much time is it? Clock it, put an alarm on. Think, what does Rosh Hashanah mean to me? What does the Yom Hadin mean to me?
And like the Yetzer makes it so slow.
Right. Good, that's even better. Right? What does it mean to me? What does it mean when somebody tells me my life is on the line in what are we done? 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks? 3 weeks? Not even. We're almost there. What does it mean to me?
Scary.
Right? Person has a speeding ticket. He's got to fight it. Right? How much preparation goes into it? So you don't get the what? So what's going to happen? I don't get the points on my license, right? This is the worst thing that can happen. If I get those points on my license, Rahman al-Islam, right? What do we do? We go. People go, no, let's call a lawyer. This one, and see how. Go on the internet and find out which lawyer will get off at least the points. I'll pay the fine and not the points, and you make yourself nuts just to get these points off your license. Now, what happens when we come to our lives are on the line, right? So just 10 minutes. That's all it is. 4 minutes, you think about it. What does it mean to me? What does it mean to me, to my family, to my friends? What does it mean? What does it all mean to me? And then he said a person should do something very practical, something small. Make a Kabbalah on yourself for 1 week. That's it. I'm going to do something in these next couple of weeks different. What am I going to do? I'm going to say Yehei Shmei Rabbi Mvarach. I'm going to learn the translation, and I'm going to say it with more kavanah. I'm going to learn the translation of the first pasuk of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I'm going to say that with more kavanah. I'm going to say benching with a bencher. I don't know what it means, but I'm going to say it with a bencher. I'm going to take it a little slower. Small things. He said in Kelm, they were makbid on bein adam lachavera, how to act towards your fellow friend. So he told me, he said, be makabel on yourself. You're going to smile at your wife once a day, more than you already do. Right? Your parents are going to be nicer. To your siblings, you're going to be nicer. To somebody, you're going to be somebody. You're going to do one smile a day more. You're going to be an adam lachavera. It's going to be a little bit more in your life. Something practical. He said, if you want to take something a little bit more that's nageh to Rosh Hashanah, he said one aleinu a day. Remember, aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol. We say that tefillah in Musaf on Rosh Hashanah in Malchias. You're preparing for Malchias. If you read the tefillah, you just read the translation of aleinu. It's such a beautiful tefillah. It's a shame it's at the end of Davening. It's such a beautiful tefillah. It talks about the Malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and how we all we're waiting for that day. Liros meheira b'sifaris uzecha. We're waiting for that day when we're going to see you display your glory, when all the idols are going to be vanished from the land. Imagine what that day is going to be like, when there's not going to be any more, narsha ideas in the world, and everybody's going to realize that everybody's going to realize this. Person, take that one aleinu a day when you're not running out. If it's a mincha or a marv, one aleinu, just concentrate a little more. Think about it. Prepare yourself for Rosh Hashanah. But that is the job that we all have to do. We have to realize who this Yetzer Hara is. We have to realize that the Yetzer Hara is part of us, and this is what we're saying about Tashla Bani Yetzer Hara. He's a dictator. He rules our life, and if not for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We have to realize, even if we think we're doing tshuva, we have to be aware. Just be aware. It might be the Yetzer Hara is trying to get me to do this tshuva. How do I beat it out? Change. effective change. Do something, and we're saying nothing, not something big. Don't say that's it. I'm not going to speak any more Lashon Hara. Yeah, right. You know, we're human beings. You got to be makabel on yourself. Between this hour, once a day, once a week, I'm not going to speak Lashon Hara. At the Shabbos table, I'm going to say Dvar Torah. Something. I'm going to be different. Why? Because tshuva means perusha lishtanos. Tshuva means I have to be different. So that was just a little off the topic from davening, but I think on the topic for the days of El. Okay, so now we're at a crossroads here. We can go back to Tefillah. We have another 10 minutes.
Or
Questions?
Well, it's not really a question, but you know, that's in the Basilis Shara. It speaks about the fact that the biggest way the Yetzer Hara he takes us down is that he makes us so busy that we don't stop to think about what we're doing.
Exactly.
So because we just do things out of habit, and we're not actually thinking about what we're doing. So if we stop and think about what we're doing, take just a few minutes to go a little bit slower and think about what we're doing and where we're going, so that a lot of these things will come naturally.
You're right. You got to do it. That's the thing. You know, we're like you're saying. I think you're 100% right. We're rushing to everything. We're rushing home. We're rushing to shul. We're rushing to our beds. We're rushing to take a shower. We're rushing to do this. We're rushing to do. We're always rushing. But there's no. Coming from New York, I found that one of the tremendous miles here in Thornhill is that it's calm. I can walk in a street. It's slow. I have time to think. I can walk to shul. It's great. I'm telling you, your mind has room to move. You have, the hustle and bustle of trying to find a parking spot in between, this much space on 13th Avenue. You have, it's an unbelievable thing. We have to appreciate that we have. You have time to think, but you have to actually, you walk to shul on Shabbos. If you're walking with somebody, fine. Talk, say something, talk amongst yourselves. Tov mashnayim echad, two are better than one. But if you're by yourself, this is the one place that nobody can capture. It's a Hara, but nobody physically can capture your mind. Your mind is yours. It's yours. Take hold. Take hold of your mind. Think about these things. These are, like you're saying, these
meditation.
Are very, yeah. And we're not talking about going out in the forest, doing all of this, or doing anything, and not sitting there for like 2 hours, and or going up to a mountaintop and dressing in a toga or something like that. We're talking about use your mind. You're walking 10 minutes a day. It's 4 minutes of thinking time. That's it. It's not a lot. And use that to effectively change, to do something that's meaningful to you, that I can do. Right? Everybody has to know what they can do, and that they'll be able to do. And it's just for a week. And next week, go on to something else. Do something else. It's for 1 week Kabbalah at a time. It's not such a. If you think about it, it's not something which is tremendous. Rabbi Miller has 10 steps to greatness. Right? What are some of these steps? Sit on the ground for a minute and say, "Imash kachech Yerushalayim tishkach yimini." Warn the Beis Hamikdash for 1 minute. How hard is it to do that? 1 minute. 30 seconds before you say the bracha of Malbish Arumim, who clothes the naked. Think about the mile of clothes. You always say, what would be if we didn't have pockets? What would the world be like if we didn't have pockets? Where would you put things? Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, He gave us pockets.
Big hats.
Yeah.
The old days were in pockets.
So what do they do, right? Baruch Hashem, we have all these things. I'm telling you, small. And this is a Rabbi Miller who knows what it means to be great, right? Who knew what it meant to be great. These are his 10 steps to greatness. These are not once a day say I love you Hashem. Once a day, and he always say don't say out loud in front of at the dinner table. People might think you're nuts. But to yourself, you go and just say I love you Hashem. That's it. Once a day. These are not.
The wife will say things like that.
Yeah.
To be simplistic.
That's what it is. Because you try and take on the world, it'll last maybe for how long?
Tom.
How long it'll last for? If you try and do something, if you're lucky. So that's the job. Okay, I think we'll hold off here. And next time we'll continue in Val Tasha Bani Yetzer Hara. Any questions? Comments? No?
Why is Dovi? How is that one? Take the song that we would say for.
So there are allusions.
I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying it's not definitive.
Well, there are a couple of things here. The Medrash says, David Hashem Ori My light refers to, I'll tell you a beautiful word on this. I think it's a beautiful word anyway. Hashem is my light, is on Rosh Hashanah. That refers to Rosh Hashanah. V'yishi, he's my salvation, refers to Yom Kippur. And later on we say, Ki itzbineni b'suko b'yom ra. He shelters me in his sukkah. That's a reference to Sukkot. Okay, so Ramat Solomon asks, says Ki itzbineni. I understand sukkah. Everybody can understand that, right? But what's this business of Hashem Uri v'yishi? Uri is, why is Hashem my light on Rosh Hashanah? What does light in Rosh Hashanah have to do with anything? And Yishi, okay, I can understand a little bit what it has to do with Yom Kippur. I need the salvation, I need the kapara. So he said like this, Uri and Yishi are two different ways, and I'll say like this. There's a minhag in Klal Yisrael during the Sesame Tshuva, even if a whole year you don't eat Pas Yisrael, there's a minhag, it's brought down in halacha to eat Pas Yisrael during the Sesame Tshuva. I think he says it? I know Pas Yisrael. Definitely he says Pas Yisrael. Which today is not so difficult to do. I'm saying for the couple days that's in between. But anyway, so Ramat Solomon asks, so what's the thing? Right, we give more stuff. We're trying to fool HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For 10 days, the Mechaber is telling us, be on your best behavior. Like, come on, God knows what we were a whole year. Right? He knows what's going to be in the future.
You're trying.
So what are we doing? We're pulling the wool over his eyes. That's what we're trying to do. So he answered like this: when a chassan is on his chasana day, right? And he goes to take those pictures. What does he look like?
$1 million.
$1,000,000. He shaves some of his best suits, his best tie, his cufflinks. He makes sure when he's in the picture he goes like this, so the watch is showing. He makes it so he's in this way, that way. Yeah, he's every angle possible, right? Not a photographer's dream. And Kala also, she sounds like this is the flowers, this. She's like bent over this way, looking back over his shoulder. Looks like $1 million. And they put the picture on the mantle.
It's not worked on.
And it's 6 months later. How do these people look? He hasn't shaved in a couple of days, right? His shirt has a couple stains. It's not yet. A little bit, right? The clothes are a little bit tighter, right, than they were. Now let me ask you something. That picture on the mantle, that's a false picture? That's not what you look like. Come on. Who are you trying to fool? So what's the answer? What's that picture represent?
How you aspire to be.
That represents me at my best. When I am my best and I try my hardest and I put forth effort, that is what I look like. That is what I could look like. All right? That's one person. There's another type of person who goes to the doctor. Something's wrong with him. He doesn't feel well. What does he do? Does he go to dress up for the doctor? No. What does he say? He said, something's wrong with me. I need you to find what is wrong with me. I need you to see my blemishes. I need you to find out what's wrong. So you have one person on the one hand saying, this is how I look, and at my finest. The other person saying, I don't want you to see me at my finest. I want you to find out what's wrong with me, right? Daddy says, Pshat, Hashem Uri and Yishi. Hashem is my light. When we're under the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Rosh Hashanah, what do we want to look like? We want to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're right. A whole year, I might not look my best. But look at what I can be on Rosh Hashanah. Look what I could be at my best. Look how I could be. That's how I want you to judge me. Ba'asher hu sham. I want you to judge me from this moment. This is how I look. Judge me like that. Hashem Uri, you're my light. When you take a look at me, I want you to see me at my best. When we come to Yom Kippur, what do we say? We say, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Hashem, I need a Yeshua. I need you to help me. Why? Because I have so many faults with me. That's the difference. Hashem Uri is on Rosh Hashanah. I want to look my best. This is how I could be. And Yishi, I need the salvation. I need it because I have things wrong with me. That's Uri and Yishi. That's what the Medrash says. That's what we say during these days. There's also allusions to tshuva over here and asking to be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shifti v'ves Hashem kol yimei chayai, which is Anila Dodi v'Dodi li. Hashem is the first letters of that pasuk is Elul. There's a closeness between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Elul. Hashem is close to us. We have to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shifti v'ves Hashem kol yimei chayai is a pasuk. I want to sit in the house of Hashem my entire life. And Agav, I was just telling somebody, Rabbi Orlovsky said, we were pointing out before how you always think Elul, you hear Elul with like flames coming out in the back, and we all think it's like, terrible, and we're all to realize it's the month of Anila Dodi v'Dodi li. Hashem wants us to do well. He's close to us. He wants us to do well. And sometimes you need a little scare in your life to give you that push to go forward. So that's why the David Hashem Uri, the Medrash said from the beginning of Elul straight through till Shmini Atzeres.